Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today we're back on the crafting room project and we're going to tackle the most difficult wall. So what we have here is very convoluted and is going to take quite some time. We have an assembly down here below the window, but that also goes up to the header here. The header is going to be pretty much its own separate entity. And then we have these two boards here. These jack studs hold up the header, but I need to get the length of them. None of these lengths or widths are going to be correct. They're just close. So what I'm going to do to start with is cut this header a couple inches long, and then I'll put a cleat on this post and clamp it on this end. Just put a 2x4 there and kind of figure out the height. Or, yeah, I'll probably just take a couple 2x4s and screw them together at what I think the height's going to be after a little bit of measuring. I need something to prop up this end. I'm going to put one screw in this. I'm going to get it level, double check that it's at the exact right height, double check across to the existing wall. And when I'm sure of all that, I'm going to transfer the line from the window frame up onto it, add 3 inches to that, and that'll give me the length right to here. Then I can cut it to length. And once I have it cut to length, I'll know the length of these two boards from getting it in there before. I'll cut those and kind of stand those up. Those need a special footer as well, or not footer, sole plate as well. Yeah, it's very complicated. I think I'm just going to get this board right here cut and we'll just jump into it. Yeah, all of this stuff is based on what's there already. I have no idea if any of these dimensions are going to be correct because I'm not exactly sure how this ends next to this next post here. It should all make sense in a little bit, but right now it's kind of foggy even to me. So let's get this cut and put in place and go from there. Okay, this hopefully will explain what I was talking about. So that 2x12 goes right on the face right here. The top needs to be flush with the top plate on here. So I screwed a cleat a little bit lower than where it needs to go, and I'll throw some shims on there until the 2x12 is flush at the top. And then on this side, I took the measurement there and just screwed two boards together at that length instead of cutting a good board to that length. This way, neither board changes. I'll just unscrew them when I'm done. Then I need to put my level across from the top of that. Once I get this board perfectly level, I'll put my level across from the top of that over to a board on top of this. I screwed up on that one, if you remember, if you've seen that video. It should only have 2 top plates, and it has 3 because, well, you can watch that video and that'll explain it, but I need to put 1 board on top of this, and then it should be level across to here. Hopefully that's true. All right, let me throw the 2x12 on there. Oh, and once I get this nice and level and figure out the length needs to be 2 2x4s, so basically where this is right here, away from the window, so I should be able to just mark right here, and that will be the length. Then it has a king stud going up on the outside and 2 shorter boards that are actually going to hold it up on this side. I do not want it held up by the window frame. It should be just, yeah, it's above the window frame, and I don't want to connect it to the window frame because the window frame really isn't all that strong. That's held in place with a 2x4 at the bottom and a 2x4 at the top. The girt ends at the window. The girt would be the strength, but even that is not all that strong. So this needs to be independent of the window. All right. Got a little bit of a shim here, a little bit of a shim there, and it's dead flush with the top of that top plate over there, dead level. So now I'll get that screw in there and we'll see if it's level across. Okay, that is what I was talking about, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but it is dead level across from there to there. And the floor is actually going to sit on top of this. Well, it's going to sit on top of both of them, and it's going to have a rim joist capping off the far end of it. That's all going to happen fairly soon. But for now, I need to measure from here down to the grade beam, and I have to get my mark 3 inches from the edge of the window onto here. It's going to get cut off at that 3 inches, and oh wait, I think I need to, yeah, I need to get the measurement from the bottom to the grade beam and from the top down to the grade beam. Okay, let's get that done. I got all of my dimensions over here. Now I need to take this off, cut it to this length. All I did was put a straight edge on the edge of this board up onto my 2x12. That's exactly where it's going to be cut off. One of the studs is going to go all the way up, and then 2 underneath it, just like in the drawings. But I got to take this off, cut it, and then put it back up in there and measure from the post over to the end of it and cut another piece and laminate the 2 together. That is what's going to hold up the floor of the mezzanine in this fairly large area right here. Forgot to mention, I cut out my extra wide sole plate. This sole plate goes from the front here all the way back almost to the wall, and it's going to go from here all the way to the other side of where the board goes right here. That will transfer the weight of the header, the 3 of them, down onto this, and it'll spread the load between this one and that one instead of just 1.5 inches on this one like the other ones are. It's fine on those, but this is a point load, and you don't want to point load on a tiny little spot like that. Okay, let's get this cut. All right, I had to work on other stuff for a couple days, but now I'm back at it. I got this stuff cut and ready to glue and screw together. This is where it's going to lap onto that post there. So we'll get that done first. I have all of the studs cut, and I can start doing assembly immediately. Okay. I am using PL 375 construction adhesive, and what I want to do is get it about a ½ inch from the edge so it doesn't squeeze out too much or at all. Go all the way around it, and then we'll do a zigzag down the middle, and we'll do an offset pattern with the screws, and then it'll be ready to put up immediately. I have no real use for anything left in this tube, so I want to try to use it all up. I don't want to get too much glue in there, but there we go. Worked out perfect. All done. Shift it a little bit. Spread the glue a bit. And make sure we're flush all the way around. And these are 2 3/4 inch screws, so they're not going to come out the other side. Started moving on me. Once you have 2 screws in it, it should be pretty well locked in place. All right, all done. Set this aside and start building the walls. Wow, this is fairly heavy. So these are going to be a little difficult to assemble. We have the 3 studs in a row right here, and then one at the other end. There's going to be another one that's attached after this is attached to the wall. So that one won't go on yet. I'm going to have to put some kind of blocking out here to support that. Just like that. Okay, let me get this gun set up and we'll get this wall assembled. right, I got this one done. I'm going to stand it up in place and put the header on it and see if we're still dead level. The thicknesses of the boards can be off. It should be level, but if it's off a little bit, I can adjust it. So we're going to get this up there, do a dry fit, and see if it's still dead level like it was before. And if it's not, I'll do a little adjustment and we'll get this thing set in place. Funny thing happened on the way to standing up this little chunk of wall. I got it stood up and then I turned to get something off of the ladder and I tweaked my back. It's not super bad, but it's fairly painful, and I would really like to get this done with. It needs to be done today, so I didn't film a whole lot, but I did get the header fastened in. It's screwed in to this king stud here and fastened really well on this side. I changed the design of this little wall down here a bit. It's just going to come shy of this bracket right here, and then I'll shim that in and screw it to the post here. It'll be attached to this structure right here on the other side, and then shims under here, and it'll be attached to the window frame here. Once that's in, I'm just going to cut a piece to fit right here, and we'll get that screwed in, and this wall will be, for all intents and purposes, done. I still have to do wiring and all that stuff, but the structure will be done. So I'm going to rush ahead. I recut some parts to fit, and I added another one of these little short studs. This will only take a couple minutes. I'll get this put together, and I have to notch one of the studs for this little bolt right here. I'll just go take it on the saw or something like that. Okay. Oh, I shouldn't have bent down. Oh, man. All right, I'll get back with you in a minute. Ta-da! The hardest wall to do is done. I got a little bit of blocking left to do, like here. I'll probably put blocking going across here, something to screw the drywall to. That's all this really is a place to screw the drywall. Yeah, this is going to be a nice little room. Nice little crafting room. So, oh, and yeah, I can't do that yet. Unfortunately, I need the tie plate on here. I was going to say I can put my first joist up there. That first joist gets air line coming through it over here, and the power is going to come in through that over here somewhere. The box is right on the other side of the wall there. It's going to come through and through the ceiling, and the panel will be facing into the garage on the other side. Yeah, that'll come probably in a couple videos. I was looking at this, and it's got enough structure here with this to hold the 2x4s. So with a couple pocket screws on the bottom, if I notched these to go up against this right here, I don't need to put in a top or bottom plate, because this is going to have a joist going all the way across as well. So I'm going to play around with that on paper and see what it looks like, and we'll figure it out before the next video starts. And the next video will be this wall here. This wall is going to be really easy, except for that top plate, because the top plate is going to have, well, the top plate is that 2x4 right there, but it's going to have that 2x8 joined to it in an L like that. And then that's all got to be cut and then lifted up there and fastened into place. The 2x4 will obviously be going this way, and the 2x8 will be going up. And then the floor joist will be attached to that 2x8 and travel across and be attached to the top of the wall. May not make sense now, but it'll make sense when you see me doing it. That's called a rim board, and that'll hold everything really nice and tight together. Yeah, it's going to be a nice room. So, if you want to see this wall being put together, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.